Meta plans to fully automate advertising with AI by the end of next year, according to the Wall Street Journal. The news is part of a broader shift toward implementing AI in the tech workforce, a shift that Anthropic's CEO says could wipe out 50% of entry-level white-collar jobs over the next 5 years. Here to discuss, Darrell West, Brookings Institution Senior Fellow in the Center for Technology Innovation and author of The Future of Work, Robots, AI, and Automation. Great to speak with you here this morning. Darrell, talk to me about how you would define AI's impact on the workforce going forward.
Well, Madison, I think you're right in the intro, in the sense there are going to be substantial job losses coming from AI. We already are seeing it in entry-level positions. Certainly administrative tasks are easy to automate. Some of the tech companies recently have had layoffs. 40% of the people laid off have been coders. So even in the software area, an area that we used to think was safe from automation is no longer going to be safe.
And talk to me then about sort of the net effect of AI on the workforce here. Is there a potential, like there is with every single technological disruption, of new jobs being created that those coders could then go get employed with?
There certainly will be new jobs created based on some of the emerging technologies, but the problem is what we call the mismatch problem, which is the skills needed for some of the new jobs are skills that many of the people being laid off are not necessarily going to have. So it's really going to place an emphasis on job retraining. People are going to have to upgrade their job skills. And so we're really going to have to devote much more attention to retraining the people for those new jobs that are going to be created.
What do you think about the net inflation impact of all of this? Is it near-term inflationary because we have to put a lot of resources into investing in AI, or is it disinflationary because we have a lot of job loss as a result?
Well, I think workers are going to end up in a worse position in the sense that certainly the people who are being laid off, given the skills that they have, it will be hard for them to find jobs because they may look in other companies or in other organizations. Those companies are going to be doing exactly the same thing. So it really shows that people are going to have to upgrade their skills. It's going to impact the economy, and the numbers could be quite substantial.
Yeah, and those numbers, according to Anthropic's CEO, indicating that it could be 10 to 20% unemployment rates going forward because of AI. Stephanie, I'm curious from your perspective, if we do see a continued 20% unemployment rate due to AI, what does that do to the economy?
Well, that would be seriously disruptive and recessionary. I don't think it will necessarily play out that way.
Yeah, how are you thinking about this?
Base cases, there will be a lot of disruption. It'll ebb and flow to some extent, so we might be in a period where it ends up being more disruptive and then it gets dialed back to some extent as you realize some challenges. Yeah. Net, technology disruption ends up being good for the economy overall. Productivity is strong. And by the way, we do have a labor supply issue where there's not enough people in this economy. So having AI actually help to rebalance the economy is not really a bad thing.
And we were talking earlier about the impact of immigration policy. To what degree do you see AI sort of as a Band-Aid to the job loss that we're experiencing due to the labor force loss due to immigration?
As we talked about earlier, it's a bit of a mismatch, right?
Yeah.
In the sense that AI can help with a lot of professional jobs, white-collar jobs, but the jobs that we're losing as a result of immigration is a lot on the blue-collar front, a lot of construction, retail, hospitality. It's the type of jobs that you generally need a person there for, but over time that rebalancing could play out and could actually sort of work out, but it takes a while.
Yeah, so Darrell, bringing you back into this conversation here, when you think about the net effect of AI on this workforce, where do you see the biggest potential headwinds? Like if someone is listening to this right now and they are about to enter college and they're listening to this interview, what sectors within the labor market should they be most concerned about going forward?
I mean, where we already are seeing job losses are in the coding area, in finance, in basic administrative tasks, but it's not just the entry-level positions that are going to be at risk. For example, there is AI that actually has gotten really good at reading X-rays and CAT scans. And so even a very professional occupation like radiologist, there could be some risk there. Certainly in the finance area, accounting, those types of transactions are fairly easy to automate. So it's not just going to be entry-level people who are at risk. So young people thinking about their careers should think about what are the jobs that are repetitive, those are going to be automated. Those will be at risk to AI. Other types of jobs where there's more creativity involved, where there's less uniformity, those jobs will be safer.
From a college student's perspective, what might be areas that they could actually consider studying that would benefit from AI rather than the concerns of where there might be job loss? But where is there going to be job creation?
I think there will be many areas that will benefit from AI. I think in the short run, AI is more likely to augment human performance as opposed to replacing it. So virtually every sector is going to see AI coming into it. In the education area, we're seeing that there are a lot of research and writing tasks that can be automated. And so people need to learn how to use AI for their own benefit in those areas. So I think those are some of the areas that I would keep an eye on.
And Stephanie, curious what you think about entry-level work being under pressure. What impact does that have longer term? If folks can't have that entry into the labor market, then where do they go?
Yeah, that could become a problem. It could create a bit of an air pocket where there is a near-term period of time where we don't have these entry workers, and they're not trained to do the more senior tasks, which still require a person. So, base cases, this could create a little bit of disruption at the sort of that lower end sort of assistant type of work. I don't expect it will dramatically change the labor force. I think it will be more about augmentation, make us more productive, rather than significantly disrupt the labor force, particularly for that younger worker.
Yeah, and Darrell, I want to give you the final word here, particularly as we continue to hear from our sources about pushes for regulation from Washington on AI and the potential for AI to replace parts of the workforce. What would you tell regulators to keep in mind?
I mean, I don't think the government is going to be able to stop this trend just because it is so pervasive and the innovations are getting better and better. But what government can do is to help on the job retraining front. That's a task they traditionally have done. They need to work with local employers so that they're retraining people in the right way and for the right skills. I think that will probably be among the most constructive things government agencies could do.
Darrell, really appreciate your time this morning. Thank you so much, and thank you to Stephanie for joining the conversation as well.
Thank you.